What's shaking? It's bacon, and you are about to see one of the new exotic fusion rifle heavy weapons that is to come in the Taken King expansion. Now, this weapon has me extremely excited, and I hope that you'll be excited about it too. It is really dope to see. This weapon is so intriguing. It's the first of its kind, and they kind of detailed the design standpoint and the working up towards the creation of this weapon and bringing it to us. And it's really intriguing. It's a lot of information to take in, and we'll be covering it. But I just wanted to say, this thing looks like a ton of fun. Like, above all the competitive levels that this gun can take or whatever, or exotics take in general, this gun just looks like a ton of fun. It looks like something that you would just want to bring into the Crucible, bring into PvE, whatever, and just go to town because of how epic it looks. And the perks, man, the perks take it to another level. This laser gun doesn't just stop at being a laser gun. It's a lot of madness, and we're going to cover it. So brace yourselves. Now, if you guys remember, in one of the weekly updates, Bungie was talking about making exotic quest lines more of a prevalent thing in the game and bringing these quest lines into a deeper level to make it more intriguing and better than it was in the past. And this is leading the pack with it. This is going to be a weapon, an exotic weapon that requires a quest and a long quest line to achieve. And they didn't detail everything about it, but we got few hints as to what it's related to. So first off, you are going to discover some of the relics, some of the pieces of this weapon, and they're kind of like artifacts, and you're gonna find these in various locations. And then once you have amassed all of them, you will bring it to the gunsmith, and he will kind of have like an epiphany and remember something about this weapon, and it'll lead into more. And I found this so intriguing because I like the lore of Destiny. I've always been intrigued by this lore system since the beginning. And the gunsmith has a memory problem. And to see that this weapon is jogging his memory, and these quests are playing off of the most minor of characters, is amazing. I am so proud of Bungie for doing this and taking the incentive to further the lore within the game itself. So yeah, you'll find these pieces and then it'll lead into more. They didn't want to talk about too much because they didn't want to spoil it, of course. But even from this little piece of information, I'm excited. And so after seeing this weapon, Game Informer was like, dude, where'd you come up with this? This is genius. This is amazing. And this is where Bungie starts to talk about their inspiration for the weapon. Now, they said they wanted to design a weapon that matched the theme of cutting-edge technology that was still in its infancy, but bears the hallmarks of a prototype that is not ready for mass distribution. So they kind of wanted to give off that golden age vibe and show that there's more to come. This is the beginning of greatness, but it's still in its baby stages. It's not the perfect model. It's not the distribution model that they're going to hand out. This is kind of like the grandfather of what's to come. And I think that that is such a cool thing to think about, saying that one of their references was the first stealth fighter plane, and saying that it looked very primitive, but it was simple. You saw what it was meant to be, but it still had a ways to go. But it kind of had like a beauty to it because it was simple, but so advanced for the time being. It had so much to it. And you could see that in a lot of prototype models for things now. We make a lot of things in our world. So to see the prototype compared to what we're going to end up having in our households, like the Oculus, is so nice. And I'm glad to see that the level of thought that they put into these weapons, they're not just killing machines, they're works of art, they're works of beauty. And it's nice to see the weapons that I really find a lot of intrigue in having more depth to them. Next is the part that I find really funny. They talk about breaking the rules, that Destiny's combat has kind of some guidelines and rules that they follow by when making weapons. But when they make exotics kind of break those rules. Each exotic has its own way of breaking the rules. And that's pretty damn awesome, because if these weapons are breaking the rules, that just shows a testament to their power, and that's why they're so strong. And in the case of this weapon, the Sleeper Simulant, they decided that the rule that would be broken is that this weapon is a heavy weapon. It's a fusion rifle, heavy weapon, and it's so cool. And when making these weapons, they tried to add a level of fantasy to it. And there's two forms of fantasy they talk about. It's the emotional fantasy and then the streamlined gameplay fantasy. Now, the emotional fantasy is what kind of emotions that are invoked in the player when they use the weapon, when they see the weapon, and when they earn the weapon. And then the streamlined one is talking about the weapon and making other people really intrigued by it when they don't have it. Say, talking about the weapon's perks, or this is the weapon that bounces its rounds off walls and just takes people down. And then people are really intrigued by that, like, whoa, I want that weapon. It sounds cool. And I think that that's how I'm going to feel about this weapon, because it just sounds like so much fun. If someone gets this before me and they're just bragging about it, I'm going to die, man. And now let's move on to the upgrade progression path that this weapon is going to undertake. Now, the first perk is intrinsic properties. Sorry if I butchered that. Projectile over penetrates enemies and will ricochet once. Projectile capable of dealing precision damage. Damn. So it's going to bounce and hit someone in the head, and it could do precision damage. God damn. And then you have the barrel column upgrades, CQB ballistics, linear compensator, and accurized ballistics. The support perk, just a scratch, reduces aim deflection on incoming rounds while you're aiming with the weapon. Helps the wielder stay on target during long charge up. So this weapon is going to take some time to charge up because it's so vicious. But you are going to stay on target. You won't be like flinching all over the place. And that's nice to see. That's something that would make the weapon actually work properly if you are under fire. And I think that this weapon is going to do hella damage when in close quarters combat in closed environments. Then you have your stat upgrades, speed reload, perfect balance, and single point sling. And the final exotic perk, which has its name still pending, is increase the bounce count of projectiles to 5. Oh my god. So this weapon, it shoots and it will just bounce around the room until it hits something. Bouncing 5 times, you're bound to hit something at that point. It sounds insane. And like I said, for closed environments, this weapon is just going to go to town. And it's a laser gun, guys. It's a laser gun. It is a heavy laser gun. I think that we're all going to have a ton of fun with this. I cannot wait to take this thing out and just have so much fun. Oh my gosh, I can taste the Taken King now. It's here. That sounded kind of weird, but yeah, I'm more excited than ever. Just seeing these weapons is making me go mad. And that's all the information we've got. Tell me if you're going mad too. I hope you'll like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll catch you in the next one.